John Hearne is back on our stage this fall. He's been there before, and we liked having him, so we brought him back. And he brings with him a law enforcement viewpoint on all of this. And so the more different viewpoints we have, the better decisions we can make about what would be right for us. And so in this one, let me take a look at my notes, because he's going to talk about who wins. That's a good idea. Who wins, who loses the problem, and why. If we know more about the why, then maybe we can avoid it or take steps to not be there at that time. And so muggings, who wins, all that will be interesting information. John will be on our stage this fall, this October. And so join us. And here's my interview with John to give you a little more idea of what's in store for you if you join us. Thanks. And many of us, of course, put a lot of energy and effort into the gunfight. Because, well, if that ever happens, I'll be in a gunfight. Okay, if I'm in a gunfight, I need to win the gunfight. Yes, you do. And so some of us then will train long and hard at the gunfight, down at the shop. And we'll practice at the shop. We'll practice on the range. And every week we're down there with a lifetime subscription to the range, punching holes in circles and preparing for the fight. And you should. And so, but the gunfight is only part of it. If you are fast enough and savvy enough and accurate enough, we hope you're victorious in the gunfight. If you can't be victorious in the gunfight, we're kind of through talking, because you won't be here. But presume that you may be effective in the gunfight. The very instant you satisfy the gunfight, you begin the court fight. So we're going to talk about the tactics that lead us up to that and that take us through the other hole at the other end. And so the more we know about this, the more we may have the abilities to avoid it. Because every fight that you can avoid is a win for you. And the ones you avoid don't cost attorneys. And so education is far cheaper and easier than courtrooms and attorneys. And so I have here in my studio Mr. John Hearne, and we're going to talk about the realities of the assault, the unexpected, sudden assault. And so, John, you've done a lot of work on this. And there are many, many topics involved in that. What are some of the things that our listeners should know?
So what I'll be presenting this year at the law conference is a culmination of probably 15 years of research, carefully honing a presentation, lifetime in and around the public safety community, to give people actual take-home stuff that they can do to improve themselves. So I liken this to kind of like a trial almost, in that I'm going to make an opening statement. I'm going to present a bunch of evidence, background, peer-reviewed studies. All my research is current as far as that stuff goes. And at the end, I will present you with this, answer the question, can you perform well under stress? That's one of the first questions we have to address. And that answer is yes, if you've done the prior work necessary. And at the end, I give you the action items that you need to do to be able to make the sound decisions that are going to keep you out of the clutches of the court.
Wow. Mike, all that sounds pretty important. And so, because we do train for the manipulation of the gun, we train for the gun, the shooting, but skills. And so we kind of guarantee that you will not rise to the occasion in the middle of your emergency and do stuff you don't know how to do. And so part of this is then learning those things we do know how to do, and hopefully that will be armed for us when we get to the fight. And so, John, you've been doing this for quite some time. Tell us a little bit about your background.
So I've been in and around the public safety world for over 35 years. Started as a volunteer firefighter and EMT. I would say that I was a 911 dispatcher for a small sheriff's office in Virginia, but this actually predated 911, back when you had to give directions like turn right where the trailer burned down last year. Went on to do a career with the National Park Service, worked for them as a law enforcement ranger from 1992 to 2023, retiring in December of 2023. Did a bunch of work, had a bunch of roles over the years. Ended up retiring as a supervisor for a fairly busy field operation. My guys were making between 150 and 200 arrests on any given year.
Wow.
Spent a lot of time on the court side as well. This sounds bizarre, but I swear it's the truth. Some of your large national parks are so large that they're standalone entities. So, for instance, the big parks like Yellowstone and Yosemite have their own jails. They have their own court systems. They have a U.S. magistrate that sits to hear their cases.
Wow.
So some years ago, I actually did a detail. I was the park prosecutor for Yosemite National Park. I got to basically try cases, provide discovery, make plea deals. So I've gotten to see kind of the sausage being made from that side as well. After I did that, I actually I thought I wanted to go to law school. A couple of months of doing that work will convince you otherwise. I then went on to spend a lot of my time as a court liaison with my agencies. So I met with us, attended court every month, gave in input to plea bargains, helped render discovery, testified in federal court as a witness, that sort of stuff. So I've been fortunate to do a bunch of different things over the years, as well as doing a bunch of the training.
There are a lot of factors in preparing for that sudden assault, but inescapable. Because if you can escape it, then that's the best answer. And if you can leave Dodge and not be at the fight, that's a win for you. And it didn't take any attorneys or anything else, and so that's good. But then not every fight turns out that way, and so then we must prepare for that. And the more prepared we are, the better our chance that we'll be the survivors at the other end. So, John, you've done this training for quite some time now and probably had quite a variety of students in your classroom. And so from the civilian standpoint of this, from Joe and Mary that are going to arm themselves so they can travel about, what do you think are some of the key things they will take away from our conference this year that every gun owner ought to know before getting involved in a self-defense situation? So
this lecture is designed to equip people to bridge the gap between the two big conundrums we seem to have in the training community. A lot of times you'll go to a class that only concentrates on shooting skill, and they'll kind of give you this explanation that we're only here to talk to you after you've made the decision to shoot. And a lot of times you'll go and you'll do legal education, and they will help you understand the system, the complexities of the law, and help you reach a decision that, yes, I need to use deadly force now, or I need to use non-deadly force, right? But at that point, the guidance ends, right? So a big focus on this material is to provide the student with practical takeaways. This isn't just a theoretical discussion where we talk about brain parts and stroke our beards and try to, smoke in our tweed jackets. It's very practical takeaways that you can implement. Basically by the end of the day, you'll have a very solid roadmap of what you need to do, whether you're an armed citizen or a first responder, to be able to make sound decisions that are going to hold up under the scrutiny of the legal system.
Wow. Sounds like something that would be good for just about anybody. And so we're looking forward to having you back. You've been in our classroom before, and we appreciate you coming back to give us another one. And so, John, look forward to seeing you. Thanks for being part of our afternoon today. And what we want to know more about this, it's just putting this together. This will be in October of this year. And so for your dates, if you have a pencil, October 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that's a Friday through a Monday. And John will be one of our key presenters, well, others experts as well. And so if you'd like more information on what we're doing, contact Old School Gun School. And the telephone direct here would be area code 360, number 378-1776. Pick up the phone, give us a call. I'll answer any questions, and we'll take it from there. Have a nice day.